I couldn't have did it. I don't know that I could have been as strong as I saw you be during that time. So I guess I kind of want to start when you got pregnant with me at 19. What were like some of your initial thoughts? What was going through your mind in that during that time?
Whew. I was afraid.
Yeah.
Um, I was afraid to tell my family. I remember when I told my dad that I was pregnant at 19. He was ready to drive to San Antonio to come get me and take me to the abortion clinic. Um, and I told him, you may as well save your gas because I'm not going. Um, I was afraid, but I was happy, because I was going to have a baby. As women, we're kind of trained to be mothers from children, from playing with dolls and playing house and all those things. So, um, although I was afraid, I knew that I did not want to get rid of my baby. Um,
We appreciate you.
and so I remember the day that I told your father that I was pregnant. It was the very day that I found out that he was married. So then I was faced with, even more decisions. I had to make the decision to either give my rights to you away
Because you were in the military.
because I was in the military, and that was one of the things that I would have had to give my rights to you away or to get out. So I made the decision to get out.
Because at that time, I remember you saying you were actually about to get stationed in Germany.
Yes, I was headed to Germany. That was where my first duty station was going to be.
Yeah.
Kind of ironic because that was my dad's first duty station after I was born. So they say the first language I spoke was German. So that's where I was as a baby.
And it's weird. The Lord ended up sending me in college in an exchange program, even though I was taking Spanish.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was a no-brainer for me because I wasn't giving my rights away.
Yeah.
So I made the decision to get out. I left, and I went to Chicago. I hadn't lived with my mom in years, since I was like 9, I think. And I went to Chicago where my mom was, and because pride wouldn't let me go back home to Granny.
Now, Granny is, just for the people that don't know.
She is my grandmother. She raised me. She's my father's mom. And she raised me from 4th grade until I graduated, and then, even after.
So you said pride wouldn't let you go back.
Well, we had a really big fight the last time I had came to visit from home. Um, I was visiting while I was in the military, and I stayed out too late. My grandmother's rule was you don't come into my house after midnight. I had to be home at 11:59. She says that it's the next day, and nobody was coming in her house the next day. So she rolled her hair from the time I left every time till I came back. It took her 2.5, 3 hours sometimes to roll her hair, but she wasn't finished rolling that last curl until I was in the house. And so I got home at 2 o'clock in the morning. That time I came home to visit, and we got into a big argument. And I told her I was grown and I was gone. So, they say you shouldn't burn bridges, but I had burned that bridge.
Yeah. But y'all were able to later on heal that.
Yes, after I went to Chicago, that was not the life for me. They were shooting, there were drugs everywhere. It was not a good neighborhood. Honestly, there was not even always electricity in the house. There wasn't always running water in the house, and I wasn't used to that. Now, we wasn't rich at Granny's house, but we had everything we needed.
Yeah.
And I knew that wasn't the environment that I wanted to raise a child in. So I called Granny, and I apologized for the statement that I made, and I asked her, could I come home? And she said, you could always come home.
That's good. So you went back to Philadelphia. And then what happened?
I'm 19. I'm pregnant. I went back to Philadelphia. I worked 2 jobs. I worked at Actually, I worked 3 jobs while I was pregnant. I worked at Pizza Hut, I worked at Sonic, and I was a substitute teacher. And I did all of that while I was pregnant until you were born, and I saved all my money until so I was able to buy my first car.
And then we went to USM.
Yeah, we went to USM. You were the USM baby.
Okay. So you said that you weren't giving your rights away. Was it that you just didn't trust anybody to help you with me, or you just wanted to raise me yourself?
Well, you know, I didn't grow up with my mom, and I knew what that did to me. So, because that was hard, I knew I didn't want to do that to my child. So, I said I was going to do it myself, and my grandmother ensured that.
Yeah.
You know, although she took me on, she would not let me do that. She would not get up in the middle of the night with you. You know, if you were crying and she heard you crying, she was like, you hear that baby, don't make me have to get up, because if she got up, I was finna get knocked out. You know, I
Being grown.
being grown, like that's
Finna
your
get knocked
baby.
out, yeah.
She said you're gonna take care of that baby.
Yeah.
I had friends who had babies that were young. Some were younger than me, and their moms kept their babies while they went to college. That was never an option. Granny didn't even say that was an option. So even if I wanted to go down that road, she wouldn't have let me. She made me be a mom.
Yeah. And let me make it clear. My granny loved me. Okay, she did. She used to get up at 3:00 in the morning and fix me a bowl of ice cream if I asked her to.
Oh yeah, she was spoiled. She spoiled you all. She
Yeah.
spoiled all of us.
Yeah. Not you.
Oh yeah, she did spoil me too.
She spoiled you too. All I heard was the stories of you getting beat from the
Oh, no.
neighbor house to her house.
Oh yeah, I know. She